I don't know why I'm getting emotional already. I haven't even filmed anything. This is probably going to be the hardest video I've ever made. I'm just so afraid of filming this and I don't know why. Got my coffee? I think I'm ready. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking to you about my health. I don't know why I'm so nervous about this. This is something I've always wanted to do. This is something I've always wanted to share with people. I always thought that I had a story to tell. And you know, this is a very personal thing. I don't think a lot of people would be sharing this in depth about what they're going through, but I'd like to talk about my health. I'd like to talk about what my journey's been like, my struggles, and finding hope again. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It's gonna be okay. Okay. I do have my coffee with me. Just maybe sipping on that as my baby blanket. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna begin by talking a little bit about what I'm going through. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the history of where I came from, where I am today, and just really finding hope again, which I think is the biggest part of all of this, and I think that's why I'm so emotional about everything. The video has a lot to do with like hormonal imbalances, stress, adrenal fatigue, cortisol, liver issues, your body just being completely burnt out. That has been my main thing. So that's kind of what I'm gonna go through. When I think I've always been a heavier girl. I've always been a heavier kind of girl. I mean, when I was in high school, I think in 7th and 8th grade, I shot up. I was just about as tall as I am now, and I'm 5'7", and I weighed like 135 pounds in like 5th grade. I was probably one of the biggest kids there ever was. I just was always big. I never was super tiny or anything like that. I just was always a bigger kid, and I struggled with my weight a lot. Through high school, I always had struggled with my weight a lot and stuff like that in high school. And my PMS was always like crazy. Like I always had really, really crazy roller coaster PMS and stuff like that. After in college, I started having a lot of depression and a lot of really bad anxiety and depression my senior year of college. And I just was putting on weight and I didn't know why. And I just kind of felt off. Like I kind of felt like my body wasn't working correctly. And I got married, and when I got married, I went on a diet that I really shouldn't have, to try to get myself down to what I could. I definitely went on a starvation diet. I did have a lot of problems with eating disorders too, just to try to keep my weight down, which I'm sure didn't help, which I think just kept snowballing into the situation I am right now. After I got married, things were kind of stressful. I mean, like, my husband and I didn't live together before we got married, and so that was kind of a whole new thing. And then just like financial situation, I was, after getting out of college, I was kind of fed the dream that you went to college and you got a great dream, and that's not really how that works. I'm sure a lot of you are knowing that, or a lot of you are figuring that out. So stress was just always kind of something, and it didn't seem like I was able to handle stress. Like everybody else could kind of let it bounce off of them, but I don't know, it just kept building up in me. So anyways, I was a server, which is not like which is like one of the most stressful things you can kind of do. So that didn't help anything. I was a server for a little while, and then I went back to beauty school when I was about 25, and that's when I got my cosmetology license. Did some hair, but right around like 25, 26, 27, I started noticing some really weird changes in my body. So I started going to a regular doctor, and they're like, oh, we'll just put you on, we'll put you on birth control, it'll help you. After 2 months in birth control, my body completely flipped out. I didn't have control of my PMS. It was just like, I was just an emotional and hormonal nightmare. And that's when my body started just to gain weight. I ended up putting on, I'm not saying that like I'm super, super heavy. It's just, it's not like, I just knew that my body wasn't working correctly. So right around then I started going to my PCP, my regular doctor in town, and researching, because you know, I didn't go on WebMD though. I started researching a lot about like, what's this and what am I doing with this, and if I have this, what can I do with this? Because I was never a person to sit back and just let someone else figure something out for me. I'm still not like that. I still want to be able to, you know, it's my health. I need to take care of it. I need to find out what's wrong and get it fixed because I want to feel better. So I started going to the doctor, and again, they just had no clue. They're like, well, you're fine. You know, they felt my thyroid. They're like, you're fine. So I started getting a lot of blood work. I got thyroid blood work. I got thyroid extra panels. I got full blood work. I got so much blood work and trying to test for different things that like the phlebotomist at the facility, at the labs, actually like basically knew me on a first name basis. I would just be like, can I get this? And they would go and get it tested. But every time I got tested, everything came back normal. The more I looked into this, the more I realized like normal range is just such a broad thing, and it could be really missing a lot of things in people, because what's normal to me could be low for someone else, and what's high for someone else could be low for me, because everybody is, their bodies are different. And that was something that was a really hard thing for me to learn, because I even had gone to 2 endocrinologists, and I was facing like horrible fatigue at this point. I was so tired, and the only thing that kept me alive and going was coffee. And so what I was doing is I was just kind of drinking coffee, hyping myself up and burning myself out. At that point, I was barely even able to get up and go to work. I was sleeping so much. I would get up and go to work, and as soon as I came home, I would go back to bed, get up and eat dinner, and then go back to bed, and then get up and go to work the next day. Like there was no quality of life. And I had asked my PCP to refer me to a couple endocrinologists, and I found one pretty quickly to get into. And when I went to him, and you know, everybody's always like, tell the truth, tell the doctor what's wrong, tell them what's going on, and they're gonna help you. And I did, and he was the biggest POS I've ever talked to in my entire life. That's where I started finding out that, you know, modern medicine in America can work for some people and cannot work for others. So, you know, I'm not against like a doctor or anything like that, but I'm just, what I am for is finding out the answers and finding someone that will take care of you. I think that's the biggest struggle, because when I went to this endocrinologist, like I explained everything. I was crying in his office, and he was just basically like, you're heavy, he's like, you're chubby, you'll always be chubby, your mother's diabetic, you'll be diabetic, there's nothing you can do. Don't eat Chipotle, don't eat big burritos, you should be running 5 miles a day. And I was like, I can't get out of bed. Like I don't have the energy to do this. And I was begging him for help. He did a couple more tests, and I got a letter a week later that said, there's nothing we can do, just continue your exercise regimen. I hung that letter on my fridge for years, just showing that like no one would help me. And then finally I was like, I don't know why I'm holding on to this, and I got rid of it. 4 months later, I finally got into a second endocrinologist, and she was really nice. I mean, there's one called like the metabolic X syndrome, but because my waist wasn't fat enough, or I didn't fit into like the perfect box for their insurance to mark something, I didn't have an issue. She told me I needed to watch my sodium intake. That's why I was heavy. So at the end of that, I had gone through so much like diagnosis and blood work and stuff like that, and still wasn't finding the answers. And I had just did a 5-hour glucose test, because they were testing my glucose to see if it was going, and I had the voicemail for years, and it said I had the best glucose readings ever, and there was nothing they can do for me. That was what everybody always said. There's nothing we can do for you. So that was December. Oh my gosh. I think it was December of 2009. I think that was December of 2011. I think that was a December. And then in January, my mother-in-law came to me and said that she had found someone that was like a naturopath. Well, I was always, you know, you don't know who to go to, you don't know who to recommend, you don't know who to ask for it, because a lot of people, when you start talking about natural medicine, roll their eyes and think you're like, you know, granola. Think you're granola, and that, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the attitude is, why people don't like natural medicine. I just don't understand it. Anyways, I remember my first meeting with Tina. I was so exhausted. I had been getting up at 5:30 in the morning and running 2 miles a day, 5 days a week, and I lost 2 pounds in 5 months. So something was definitely off. Like, I didn't know. And meanwhile, I was trying to go more organic. I was trying to, you know, switch up my diet and different stuff like that to see what would work best for me. But I remember my appointment with Tina, I remember just crying. And she really cared. You know, my poor husband has been one of the most supportive people I could ever ask for. And it hurts when another spouse is going through something, he had said, because he's like, I'm going through it with you. So he was there with me, and he's been everything. Like, I couldn't ask for a better husband. But Tina was like finishing my sentences. She knew I was exhausted. She said that my body was so exhausted that if I was in another country, say like Australia, which they actually see like adrenal fatigue, I would have been hospitalized for exhaustion. But in America, we don't see that. It's nothing. That's not treatable. That's kind of like a fictitious thing that people made up. So adrenal fatigue is whenever your body's usually in a fight or flight mode, whenever the adrenals get kicked in. And once they're on for so long, and I was drinking all that caffeine and that coffee, it kind of just burnt my system out. And then I was tired, so I drank more caffeine, and then I was just in a really bad state. Emotionally, PMS, hormonally, like I was a complete mess. So I was with Tina for a few years, and we got a couple different things like handled. Like, I came back from that, which I'm very, very happy about. You know, but it was like a slow progress thing. Like, I would do really good, and then I would have like a hiccup and go back a couple steps, and then I would do really good, and then I would hiccup and do back a couple steps. All the while, Tina and I are, you know, we're like research buddies. I'm like, maybe we should go gluten-free. So I started doing like gluten-free, and I got Tina doing gluten-free and her family too, which I think is really funny. You know, it was just kind of like, it was like we did really, really well, and then something would happen and I would kind of go through the same cycle again. I was improving, but it was still like really, really tiny baby steps, and then I would get taken back. So I always knew that there was something else missing. Like, it wasn't just to treat like the adrenals or to treat something else. And here I had also thought it was like a hypothyroid thing too, because I'm like, oh, my thyroid's really slow, my digestion's really off, my hormones are really bad. Because right around whenever, when I start ovulating, I can tell when I'm ovulating, because my body just like perks up and starts getting thicker, like it's putting on the mass. A couple days right before my period, my body will just go insane. And then, meaning like I'll gain weight, my blood sugars will go crazy. Like, I thought I had really bad diabetic issues too. But again, the doctors didn't see it. They said my blood sugar is fine, so I'm supposed to be okay. That wasn't the issue. It's so weird talking to a camera about this. That's kind of where everything, you know, I went on a couple different diets and I felt really good. And then I've tried like the AP, I did like the autoimmune paleo, I did the fast metabolism diet, I did the gluten-free, I did vegan, I did dairy-free. I've done everything. And I'll do okay for about a month or two, and then my body just cycles right back. Like, something's going on. And like I said, my digestion was always really weird. Let's fast forward to January of this year. My husband was away on tour. He's a drummer. He was touring. And I have a pit bull, and she hurt herself. So I was picking her up and down and taking her up and down the stairs. I hurt my back. My middle of my back. I was in so much pain. I didn't even think I was going to survive. After going to the chiropractor, our amazing chiropractor, he is a sweetheart. I started finding out that where I had subluxations, where I had different parts of my back was actually I actually had like I had a bad curve to my spine, and my neck was all messed up too. So a lot of my nerves were getting pinched, so that wasn't really helping my health at all. February of 2018, and I've been doing keto, and also I've been doing keto for about a year. I've been doing kind of keto for about a year. Like, I was eating high fat, and I felt really good on it because I just didn't feel bloated all the time. But anytime that I could do like a higher fat, lower carb, moderate protein, but anytime that I would go like full-fledged keto, my body would just go nuts. Like, it didn't like it. But I still kept lower carb because I knew that eating a lot of carbs, my body just didn't like it. Meanwhile, my best friend Ashley has been on keto for 18 months and has lost 70 pounds and just looks amazing. So, potato, you know, it could be good for one person, but not for another. I've done every workout known to man. It's not like I just sit around and I'm sloppy. I'm a sloppopotamus. You know, I was running, I did weightlifting, like we're talking heavy lifting, like squats 165. I was doing like deadlifts 200 pounds. I was cardio queen, and then I did like every workout tape you could possibly imagine too, to try to get my body in shape, because I'm like, if I have more muscle, blah blah blah. The only thing that I really kind of stuck with was more like calisthenics, which is kind of like ballet exercises, because I knew that something was happening. Like, I couldn't push myself like that anymore because I didn't have any recovery or anything. I had no recovery. So February 2018, this past February, I was doing really, really well. I felt fantastic after going to the chiropractor. I was kind of cycling carbs with my keto, and I was at the smallest I'd ever been, and my body was just evening out. And I thought, because I would always get to a certain point, like a certain weight, and then I would just keep, I think I lost the same 20 to 15 pounds like 100 times over. Definitely very frustrating. So I'm like, there's something wrong. Like my body, I would keep track of my calories, I would keep track of my macros and everything like that. Everything I would put in my body, get sleep, take your vitamins and stuff like that. But I knew that, you know, something was wrong. Something was definitely off. End of February at my job, I thought I was going to lose my job, and they fired a bunch of people, and the past year and a half at my job has been a living nightmare. Just been really, really, really hard. I love everybody I work with, but the stress there was just getting worse and worse and worse. And again, what was happening to my body, so if I got sick, which I did at the beginning of March, and that's where things just went totally south for me. I got a horrible, horrible cold, and because I had no reserves, like my body and my immune system was kind of shot from all that stress, with all the stress that was built up, my body couldn't recover. That's when I just started gaining weight again. That's when my anxiety was so bad, and it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh, I have anxiety, but like, I mean, like, I just would have to leave work. There were some days I didn't want to leave the house. It's just really hard. And it's so weird because sometimes it's a mental game and you build it up and you're like, okay, and you know, you have your good days with anxiety and you have your good days with your health. But if depression, with everything, I was also getting very depressed with everything because I was like, why is this not working? What is wrong with me? Why can't I figure this out? So April 2018, the stress had gotten so bad and my health had gotten so bad that all of my hair started breaking off and falling out. I've always had super thick hair, and for as much as I've ever, oh, this is decaf, by the way, so don't freak out about that. I forgot to mention this is decaf because I can't drink regular coffee. I'm a poser, I drink decaf. But all of my hair started falling out. That's why I'm kind of just letting my natural hair grow back in. And I'll show you this. I was washing my hair and handfuls of my hair were falling out, which was really hard. So I really don't have any hair left on the side of my head. All my bangs, like all of my bangs broke off. All of my hair thinned out, and the back of my hair is completely broken. So this is all of my hair broke off. I have like You can see all of my hair all broke off. So I'm trying to not put a lot of heat on my hair, but you can see this is all just broken bits from everything that happened. Get my bun back. I haven't been pulling, like I haven't been using a lot of heat on my hair or anything like that, just so it stays a little bit better. So that was just like really kind of crazy. So meanwhile, I've been going to Tina. She got certified in doing blood work. And so we've been doing like, it's almost like a hand scan called the dermagrid, and it would show some stuff, but like I said, I still thought something was missing. So Tina, I wanted to get my blood work done, and she's like, if you have insurance, go through your doctor because it'll be cheaper, but I can order like so you can get, you know, I have the what you need to get done, but it'll be a little bit cheaper. And here's where I had a really huge problem with our healthcare system. Again, it works for some, but I'm paying for everything. I had to pay out of pocket a lot for my chiropractor because it was only good for 12 visits until I was completely out of pain. For 1 year, but I needed more visits to actually correct some stuff before I actually had some really severe issues. I was gonna try to go to like MedExpress and see if they could give me a script for that, but they wouldn't. They said they would be completely out of pocket, and they wouldn't give me a script for that. And then I didn't want to go back to my original doctor because we just really didn't see eye to eye when I had left, because I was just really frustrated, and she was just like, "There's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing I can do for you. You're fine. Just lose weight. Don't eat salt." So I was kind of, sorry, keep playing with that. So I was kind of just backed into a corner with that. So I ended up having to pay out of pocket for everything. Tina ordered me through Quest Diagnostics. It's like a lab around us. She was able to order the blood work. I had to pay out of pocket for that. The analysis, and also for her to do the analysis for the blood work, I paid out of pocket for that, and then also the supplements as well. It wasn't cheap, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's definitely worth it. Tina's daughter Amanda has been a super good friend of mine for, oh my gosh, I think it's been 3 or 4 years we've been chatting. She doesn't live here. I wish she did, because I think we'd hang out a lot more, but we talk all the time. And Amanda had a lot of hormonal problems too, and she got the blood work done in October 2017, and she was like, "Christina," because I was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna pay for this. I don't know if it's worth it. Like, am I just gonna get upset again because something didn't work out?" It put some things in perspective that we didn't know was happening. She's like, "I truly think it would help you." And so from her recommendation, I went along with everything. Tina had me, I got my cholesterol, liver, metabolism, thyroid, and a bunch of other things too. I'll list everything below that I actually got tested. We did the blood work, and she had me get it on the day that I was ovulating, just because of how she wanted to read the blood work. Just a fair warning, you know, the blood work that I got basic regular panels from blood work, and Tina has a system that takes the numbers from your blood work and analyzes them so that it shows a better picture of what is missing. That's the difference. So instead of just your doctor being like, "These are your numbers, this is what it is," the analyzing of the numbers showed what was going on. It showed what was going on, it showed why things were happening, and it showed how they were happening. And you know, so it connected the dots for me, which was like a huge thing. Apparently I have very low cholesterol and triglycerides. And Tina did the blood work. She sent everything to me. She's like, "Print this out. We're gonna go over everything." It was all my paperwork for everything. And she had spent over 2 hours just on my chart alone, trying to figure everything out. I don't have it in front of me. I'm not gonna show you it. I mean, if you wanna get that done, that's totally, but I'll talk a little bit about it. You know, the biggest thing that I was on there was I had low cholesterol and low triglycerides. And she's like, "I know that you were eating fat like none other, like with keto," but she's like, "Your body wasn't processing the cholesterol." And she encouraged me to do a little bit more research on my own too with low cholesterol. And with that, she had talked about my body wasn't using the energy. So your body your cholesterol helps with fat, immune, digestion, everything. It helps with even just the cells being, like the chemistry of the cells and the energy for the cells. So by having, like, everybody's like, don't have high cholesterol. Low cholesterol can be just as scary or worse, because your body's not able to have any, it's not able to turn over and take the food that you eat or what you're doing and give you energy. Like, there's no chemical reaction. I kept calling it my spark plugs. Like, my spark plugs are bad. And she's like, yeah, she's like, that's a good analysis. Your spark plugs are bad. In essence, I started looking at more, and it causes, you know, low cholesterol causes depression. It really, and hopelessness, it can really, really affect everything else that's going on in your body. I had low triglycerides, so I didn't have a lot, again, there's not a lot of fat in my blood and stuff like that. And it's just so weird because my thyroid had come back perfectly fine, and here I thought, well, my thyroid, but it really had to come all the way down to my lower cholesterol. Now you want to know how that's fixed? I'm not a doctor I'm not a doctor. So apparently your liver does about 500 different things. Like, it'll convert T3 to T4, it'll convert the enzymes and hormones for your thyroid, it'll help with digestion, it helps with glucose levels, it helps with everything like that. So here it's mainly my liver that's not working, and it's not taking the food that I'm eating and producing that cholesterol. So one of the main things we're trying to do is to get my liver back to a functional state. After I do that, a lot of stuff should start happening. She explained a little bit more about that I'm not diabetic. She explained why I could swell up at the drop of a dime. She explained that my nervous system, I said it was like a cage fight, and she's like, that's basically what's happening. She's like, because, you know, my body is so starved for energy, it's stealing all the other things. Hence, like your body's not gonna have the energy for your eyebrows, eyelashes, or your hair, your nails, because my nails were just a mess too. They were just like paper thin. And then we talked a little bit about the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenals. And it's usually a 3-legged stool. She's like, you don't have any legs. None of it's working right. But again, it kind of all goes back to that lower cholesterol and the liver not processing and working really well. If you look at my basic blood work, you'll see that my cholesterol, my HDL and my LDL, my healthy and my bad cholesterol are actually normal, but they're low normal. Like, they're just above where it's low. So most doctors probably would have been like, you're fine. Nothing wrong with you. Just keep your diet up. It was just weird having that Tina went, she called me and did a phone consultation for over an hour. And it was literally like someone was connecting all the dots. She put everything back together. And I was talking to her daughter, and I was just blown away. Like, I was so just blown away for the first week that she had talked about this. And I've been posting about it and saying, but I'm still in awe about it. I think it's really kind of crazy. She gave me recommendations for food and exercise, and we're doing a lot. We're doing a lot different supplements now that are heavy hitters that should help me a lot. So that's really good too. Kind of where I am right now. I kind of wanted to do another video in about 2 months to show you where I am with everything. It'll be my birthday, so that'll be kind of fun too. I guess like the main reason I really wanted to film this was like not just to tell my story, but don't give up on yourself. Keep looking for answers. This gave me such a renewed sense of hope that there was help. That I could get better. I can't really diet or do anything like that right now, because if I cut my calories or anything, my body's just going to go into hyper overdrive and I'm going to start back at square one. So I kind of just have to like my self-image and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of hard because I do YouTube and I don't want to be chubby and I hate being overweight. It's just very uncomfortable. I kind of feel like I'm wearing a little bit of like a fat suit, and I know I'm not supposed to be this big, and I've done everything to it. So the next couple months, I just kind of have to like know that it's going to get better. Know that I'm going to be more balanced. Know that the weight's going to come off. Like, I'm just going to be, I know that I'm going to be a little bit heavier for a little bit longer until my body starts actually working. That's where I am right now. As soon as I started taking the supplements, I did feel a lot better. I had my dot, and it was actually pretty short, but I'm having some weird, like, my body needs to detox from a lot of crap that's in it and a lot of stuff that it's just held onto Tina's like, did this happen to you a long time ago? I'm like, yeah. My body still needed a detox from my tattoos. She said that that's still kind of circulating, like what I've done to my body is still kind of circulating. So that kind of sucks that I might not be able to get tattoos again. But she's like, there's a lot of detoxing, so my skin is kind of really weird. If you want to know, like, I'm not going to recommend, vitamins and minerals to you. I'm just going to recommend, if you need to reach out and talk to someone, I mean, you can totally talk to me, you can DM me. In the comments below, you can talk to me on Instagram or whatever, and I'll totally chat with you about it, or if I can help you or point you in the right direction, I'd be more than happy to. All the tests that I got below, I'll kind of put a description of what Tina did and the analysis and stuff like that, and then I'll leave her information as well below. I hope this kind of gives everybody a little bit better window of what I've been dealing with and what's going through, and you know, I'm not crying wolf. I think people are like, oh, whatever, she's just chubby, she's not trying hard enough, and that's not really, that upsets me because it's not like that. So anyways, this is all my natural color that's gonna be, you know, I just want my hair to grow in, I just want to be myself, I just want to feel amazing again. But I hope this kind of helped you guys out. I hope it wasn't too drab, but I mean, like, it is what it is. I've always wanted to kind of film something like this, and you know, with the turn events that's happened in the past couple months, it's kind of giving me a better opportunity, and again, like I said, a better hope. And this is something else I should have said too. Some people just don't think they're worth the time to take care of themselves. No one else is going to take care of you. No one else, you know, you're going to have that support and love like I have from my husband and my friends and family, but no one ultimately is going to be able to take care of you except you. I think it's kind of a decision, like, am I going to keep fighting for myself, or am I just going to give up and not have that quality of life? And what I want to say is you're always worth it. Like, you're always worth that time and that effort. If someone you know is struggling or anything like that, maybe you can share this video with them. I don't really know. I don't know how this video is going to come on. I don't even know what I'm going to name it. So, but anyways, I look forward to having a really good update in the next couple months. Thank you guys so much for your love and support. Everybody's been so amazing with this, and just so sweet and loving, and reaching out to me and saying, like, you got this, you're gonna do great, good luck, you know what I mean? So that's just meant the world to me. So, but anyways, guys, I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks, bye.